Hello everyone, Dr. Suneel Dhand, internal medicine physician. Welcome to another video. Pharmaceutical commercials on TV are absolutely out of control. They're out of any imaginable control. We see them constantly in the United States. And I know that a lot of people who are watching from overseas, but take it from me, you have to see it to believe it in the United States. Sometimes you will watch a commercial segment and every single ad will be a pharmaceutical product. And this is very rare overseas. That's why when people come and visit from overseas and I talk to people who are from different countries, one of the first things they say is, what's going on with all of these pharmaceutical ads? We never see anything like this. Very few countries allow this type of direct pharmaceutical company to consumer advertising. In fact, I believe that only 2 countries in the world allow this, the United States and New Zealand. I'm not sure what New Zealand is doing on that list. I'm not sure how bad the situation is over there. But in the United States, we are faced with this bombardment of advertisements every single day if we watch TV. And I decided enough was enough. I will come to my own personal decision in a moment. But if you're wondering why these commercials have become so widespread in the United States, know this. This wasn't always the case. Go back 30, 40 years ago, and we hardly used to see any ads on TV. And something really changed in the 1980s and 1990s. Let me share this with you from the FDA website. So yes, this is directly from the FDA. No federal law has ever banned direct-to-consumer advertising. Until the mid-1980s, drug companies gave information about prescription drugs only to doctors and pharmacists. When these professionals thought it appropriate, they gave that information to their patients. Ah yes, the good old days, exactly how things should still be. But unfortunately, something drastically has changed. However, during the 1980s, some drug companies started to give the general public more direct access to this information through direct advertising. But then something drastic happened in the late 1990s. But in 1997, the FDA eased restrictions to allow pharmaceutical companies to advertise directly to consumers. With restraints lifted, spending absolutely soared. So that was 25 years ago when things started to drastically change. The late 1990s. I actually think that the late 1990s could end up being the peak of human civilization because in so many ways we've gone completely downhill since then. So since 1997, pharmaceutical ad spending, remember we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars on spending directly to consumers. These companies know exactly what they're doing. They wouldn't be doing it if they weren't yielding some type of return. And even over the last 10 years, statistics suggest that pharmaceutical ad spending has basically doubled to where it is now. And is this really always about pharmaceutical companies wanting to show consumers their marvelous products, these life-saving drugs which are so magnificent? No, not really. Let me share this article with you from Forbes. Here's why Big Pharma spends more on ads pushing lower benefit drugs, study suggests. The proportion of advertising spending allocated to direct-to-consumer ads was an average 14.3 percentage points higher for drugs with a low added benefit compared to those with a high added benefit. Seems a bit strange. Nearly 2/3 of the country's top-selling prescription drugs, 92 of the 135 drugs data was available for, were rated as offering patients low added benefit by health agencies in France and Canada. So why on earth are pharmaceutical companies wanting to do this? What could be their motivation behind wanting people to know about these drugs with a lower benefit? Well, in that article in Forbes, it says the findings could suggest pharma firms are aiming promotional dollars directly towards consumers rather than clinicians as part of a strategy to drive patient demand for drugs that clinicians would be less likely to prescribe. Of course, that's what it's all about. We are the United States of Big Pharma. I take no pleasure in saying that. Pharmaceutical companies are absolutely out of control on Capitol Hill. They spend hundreds of millions of dollars lobbying. Both political parties are involved, and that's why we're in the situation we are in. And that's why nothing will change here. If anything, pharmaceutical ad spending will keep going up and we'll basically see more and more ads because the goal of large segments of the establishment is to get as many people on drugs and medications as possible. But I've had enough of it on a personal level. I do not want to be associated with this type of culture. So I decided that I would actually take a practical step in my life. Now, as you can imagine, I don't get much time to watch cable TV, but I did occasionally watch cable TV shows. And of course, I would get highly annoyed during those commercial segments, seeing all of these big pharmaceutical ads. And I decided that enough was enough. I don't want to pay for basically big pharma TV. And I decided to cancel my subscription. It's the first time I've ever done that since I moved away from home. A lot of you may be in the same situation. You've always had cable TV. So 2 to 3 weeks ago, I called up and I cancelled my cable TV. And I have to say, I think it's an absolutely brilliant decision. I do not miss it in the slightest. Everything I want to watch can be found online. I don't even need cable TV, and I don't want to support that culture which blasts people with constant pharmaceutical ads for products that they rarely need and come with many side effects and the risk of adverse events. So I have no interest whatsoever in watching those ads. So better than just switching the TV off, cancel the cable TV subscription completely. So anyway, that's what I did. I know for many people out there, it may not be a practical thing for you to do, but I want to share my own story there. A little bit of fight back myself against the establishment. Every little bit helps. Every small step that we can do. And I want to leave you with this one thought here. Think about this very carefully. Things really started to change in the late 1990s, 25 years. And over the last 25 years, this massive explosion in pharmaceutical ads has coincided with a massive explosion in so many chronic inflammatory diseases out there. And I would put it to you that the two are closely linked, not necessarily how you might expect, in that pharmaceutical companies are responding to demand. I believe on multiple levels, they are creating demand and they're fueling a terrible culture that will eventually implode in the end. And I take no pleasure in saying that at all, but I think that the United States is completely on the wrong path here. Congratulations, many other countries that don't allow this pharmaceutical spending. But unfortunately, the influence of the United States and this culture spreads to other countries in Europe, the United Kingdom, mainland Europe, in many other ways. So please have your guard up. Thanks everyone for listening. Let me know your thoughts down below. Check out my online academy and my Uncensored platform. Those links are also down below. Hit the like button if you like this video and the bell button for more similar videos in the future. We will talk again very soon.